Good evening, Commissioners. There's three budget amendments I'll bring to you, and I'll quickly go over those and answer questions for those. These budget amendments have already been approved. Two of the budget amendments were approved in August in our board meeting then, and then the third budget amendment was approved in September. The first two have to do with, that were approved in August, have to do with some maintenance projects. We have a roof leak, air conditioner problem in Milton High School. That was in our budget for last year, but due to some issues, we took it out. Well, the roof gets a vote in all this too, so it went out anyway, or the air conditioner system did. So we've had to replace and have a rental chiller on site down there. We're replacing the air conditioner in the front wing of Milton High School. That's one part. While we were in that, we decided to go ahead and fix two roofs that we knew we were going to need repairing. One at Baldwin Middle School, a section of a roof there, and one at Central High School. So those together come with $312,000. That would come out of our fund balance, at no cost to you other than we're paying for that part. The next part was, the next budget amendment was for our band programs. We have contributed or adjusted our budget to allocate $34,000 to the three band programs that are in this county. Those band programs have not received any support within the last 10 years, and our board approved that one. Both of those amendments were approved at the August board meeting. The third amendment was approved at the September board meeting. It has to do with our janitorial services contract with GCA. They received in their contract a percentage increase on operation cost every year based off of either 5% or the consumer average of the consumer price index. We failed to see that in our budget preparation this year. That amounts to roughly $15,725, and by contract that's due to go there. So our board members approved these three budget amendments at the meetings in August and September. Do you have any questions about those? And there's a memo there in front of you that should explain all of these budget amendments. And then I'll go over the report for the quarter also with you. That's the last page of your document there.
What was the total taken out of the fund balance for this, Mr. Ross?
I'm gonna have to add those up real quick for you. 34.
Okay.
Maybe on that. It may actually be on the.
That's okay.
Yes, $362,325.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
That was my question.
Okay. Last line of the first page there on the memo.
Make a motion to approve. Okay, we have a motion to approve the amendments. Do we have a second? Second, by Commissioner Wilbur. We need a roll call vote for this one.
Young.
Aye.
Wilburn. Aye. White.
Aye.
Vickers. Aye. Vaughn. Sane. Moss. Hall.
Aye.
Dizzy.
Aye.
Madden. Lemire.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Dole. Daniel.
Aye.
Cobb.
Aye.
Bell.
Okay, motion passed on all amendments.
If you would, you can turn to the back page. There's somebody's already been looking at that before. For this month, I'm hitting on a couple areas. We've already covered the budget amendment. For enrollment, based off the first month and a half of school here, we're about 84 students above what our BEP funding rate was last year. So the 3,791 students was what our maintenance of effort and what the funding rate was set at for last year. And at this point, we're at 3,875, so that's roughly 84 students. And we've seen this before. I would like to say that I'm standing here in April telling you we sustain those 84 or even increase some more, but it typically doesn't work out that way. But coming out of the gates, we're 84 students ahead of where we were last year. We're about 60 students ahead of where we were in April, which those are some key metrics that we look at. I'll be briefing you on these metrics throughout the year, especially when you get into the February, March time frame, so that you know what maintenance of effort is based on and the number of students that will need to be funded for this year. The bottom left-hand corner of that report just shows some parent-teacher conference numbers. We just completed that a couple weeks ago. We continue to have really good presence and really good participation from our stakeholders in the county when we can get 2,000 plus parents to attend, to take a time out of work and come to our schools and meet with our teachers. And so we're tickled with that. That number is actually up about 200 students from what it was this time last year, or 200 parents that visited with us, and 200 signatures. The staffing, I'm going to jump to the lower right-hand corner because I try to keep you updated on what our staffing numbers are each year. We've actually added those 6.5 positions that in the classrooms that were approved in our budget last year. Those were kindergarten teachers and middle school teachers. And so we're proud that we still have a couple positions that are vacant that we haven't filled. And that's one central office and an IT coordinator, or not a coordinator, but a technology person. We just haven't hired those people yet. We were more focused on getting our schools going, getting teachers in the classrooms. The upper right is just a factoid that I thought you would be interested in, so I put it there. There's a Tennessee Advisory Commission on Intergovernmental Relations that proposed a bill last year for school districts that administrative costs not exceed 10% of your total budget. And I really didn't pay a lot of attention to it, but I heard a lot about it. And at one point I heard someone who was much smarter than I am say, hey, you know, in the districts we have about 4 to 5 districts in the state that are violating this premise. It wasn't a law, it wasn't a policy. And that got me, and they said, that, you know, it's not the districts that you think. It's not the metropolitan districts. It's more the small rural districts. So it got me to think, I wonder where we are. If somebody else knows who is violating this, they must know who's not violating this. So I called Tennessee Organization of School Superintendents. They put out this data. This advisory commission, TASER, it's called the TASER rule. They actually had all the numbers compiled. These numbers are based upon the expenses of the Board of Education, the Office of the Superintendent, the Office of the Principal, and the Human Resource Department, and their expenditures based against the entire budget. So you can see where we're at there. I simply did a comparison of the 13, 14 counties in West Tennessee that look most like us as far as size goes and demographics and as far as students. So that's where we rate, and we're there at about 6.9%. So just thought that might be of interest to you. I'm proud of that fact, and we're holding the line there. If you've got any questions of me? If not, that concludes my report. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Ross.